You'll find the link to crypto portfolio rebalancing sheet in the description and pinned in comments below. Most people lose money in crypto for one reason and nobody realizes it until it's too late. What happened next shocked everyone in 2021 and almost nobody notices this pattern today. In the next few minutes, you are going to learn the exact trading system I used to turn $1,000 into a consistent income. You will do it without gambling, without confusing jargon, and without losing everything like 90% of beginners do. But this is where it gets dangerous. There's one mistake most viewers make, and it could wipe out your entire portfolio. And what happened next? It changed everything I believed about crypto trading. By the end, you will have the invisible shield that protects you from risks most people never see until they are already trapped. If you want simple crypto education without the confusing jargon, subscribe now because we post videos every week that help beginners avoid expensive mistakes. And in the next section, I'm going to reveal the reason most people fail and why it's not what you think. Nobody talks about this, but here's the truth. Crypto doesn't destroy your money, you do. Let me tell you a story. In 2021, a guy named Marcus, name, age, same age as most of you, had $5,000. He watched Bitcoin go up 30% in a week. He thought this is easy money. He bought everything at the top. 2 weeks later, Bitcoin dropped 40%. He panicked. He sold, he lost $2,000 in 1 month. Marcus didn't lose because crypto is risky. He lost because he had no system. What happened next shocked everyone, and it's the exact pattern 90% of beginners repeat today. This is where fear comes in. You see your portfolio drop 20%, your heart races, you think I need to sell now. But here's the contrarian truth. Fear is not your enemy, impulse is. And this is where it gets dangerous because in the next section, I'm going to show you how a trading system actually works and why almost nobody teaches this to beginners. What if I told you the entire crypto trading system can be explained in 3 words: buy, wait, sell? Let me break this down like you are 12 years old. A trading system is just a rule book for when you buy, when you wait, and when you sell. Think of it like driving: red light, stop, don't buy; green light, go, buy; yellow light, wait, hold. Here's a real example. You have $1,000. Bitcoin drops 15% in 1 week. Your rule says buy when it drops 10% or more. So you buy $500. 2 weeks later, Bitcoin goes up 25%. Your rule says sell when it rises 20% or more. You sell at $500. You sell $500, you made $100. That's a system. It's not gambling. It's not guessing. It's rules. This is where hope comes in. You realize you don't need to be a genius. You just need a plan. But there's a catch, and almost nobody notices this. What happened next changed everything I believed about trading. And in the next section, I'm going to reveal the 3-step framework that beginners skip and why skipping it costs them thousands. Here's the mistake 90% of beginners make. They start trading before they know these 3 steps. Step 1: plan. Before you buy anything, you write down your rules. How much you will invest? When will you buy? When will you sell? What's your maximum loss? Marcus didn't have a plan. That's why he lost $2,000. Step 2: test. You don't start with real money, you start with a demo account, fake money. Same rules, you test your system for at least 30 days. This is like learning to drive in a parking lot before you hit the highway. Step 3: execute. After you test, you start with Small real money, $1,000, not $5,000. You follow your rules, you track everything. I had a student, Sarah. She started with $200. She tested for 40 days. She followed her rules. 6 months later, she had $1,200. She didn't gamble, she didn't guess, she executed. This is where exclusivity comes in. You are now a part of 10% who have a system. Most people will never do this, but if you skip any of these steps, you are back to gambling, and gambling costs you everything. And this is where it gets dangerous, because in the next section I'm revealing the mistake that wiped out 90% of 2021 traders, and it's happening again right now. This is the moment where most viewers leave, but if you stick with me, you are going to learn the exact mistake that destroyed entire portfolios. In 2021, Bitcoin hit $65,000. Everyone was buying, everyone was excited, everyone thought this is forever. But here's the hidden secret. They were buying at the top. 2 weeks later, Bitcoin dropped to $40,000. 90% of traders panicked. They sold. They lost everything. And what happened next? It's happening again right now. Listen, I interviewed a trader named Jake. He had $10,000. He bought at $63,000. He didn't have a stop loss rule. Bitcoin dropped 40%. He sold at $38,000. He lost $6,200. But here's the contrarian truth. Jake didn't lose because crypto is risky. He lost because he didn't have risk management. This is where fear comes in. You are watching this and you are thinking, is this happening again? Yes, and most people don't see it. And in the next section, I'm going to show you the invisible shield, risk management, that protects you from this exact mistake. Most traders ignore this, but it's the only thing that keeps you alive. Risk management is your shield. Risk management is just 3 rules. Rule 1, never invest more than 5% of your portfolio in one coin. If you have $100, max $50 in Bitcoin. This means if Bitcoin crashes, you don't lose everything. Rule 2, set a stop loss. You decide if this drops 10%, I sell automatically. No panic, no emotion, just rules. This is like a fire alarm. When it goes off, you leave. You don't wait. Rule 3, only invest money you can afford to lose. I had a student who invested his rent money. Crypto dropped 30%, he couldn't pay rent. He lost everything. This is the mistake I never want you to make. This is where hope comes in. You realize you can trade safely. You don't have to gamble. You have a shield. But if you ignore risk management, you are back to gambling. And gambling costs you everything. What I'm about to reveal in the next section is the one truth that changes everything. And this truth, it's so simple. Almost nobody sees it. This is the moment where everything changes. Here's the truth. You don't need to predict the market. You just need a system. Remember Marcus from the beginning. He lost $2,000 because he had no system. 6 months later, he came back. He had a plan. He tested for 30 days. He used risk management. 1 year later, he had $8,000. He didn't become a genius. He didn't predict Bitcoin. He just followed rules. This is where triumph comes in. You realize you don't need to be special. You just need a plan. The market doesn't care if you are smart. It cares if you are consistent. You are no longer a gambler. You are a trader. You have a system. You have a shield. You have a plan. Subscribe now if you want to stay ahead in crypto without wasting years learning the hard way. Every week we post beginner-friendly videos that teach you the systems, the rules, and the risk management most creators never share. You are not alone. You are part of the 10% who have a plan. And in the next video, I am revealing something that could save you from one of the biggest beginner mistakes in crypto. But before you invest in any coin, watch this next video here, because it could save you from one of the biggest beginner mistakes in crypto. In that video, we explain narrative driven investing, the exact strategy that helped me turn $1,000 into a consistent income by understanding why coins move, not just when. This is the missing piece most beginners never see, and if you skip it, you are back to gambling. Watch it now, because your next trade depends on it.